Hey YouTube, Mark Kaufman here, and I am just proud to bring you my last video of 2020, and I'm really looking forward to 2021. It is still the 31st here in Houston, Texas, and I am just thankful, first of all, to everybody that has subscribed to my channel, enjoys my videos, and who, like me, enjoys knives. Now, I was thinking about a video that I could do, and I felt it was only fitting that I would do this video, which has been on the back burner, and I just was waiting for a time to do it, but this is going to be titled 3 Generations of Pocket Knives. And what we have in front of you today is my grandfather's pocket knife, my father's pocket knife, and then my pocket knife. Now, I did receive a pocket knife from my father before this knife, but I did not carry it as readily as this knife. So I carried this knife for about 5 years on my keychain, or on my key ring, whereas the other one I carried it off and on and usually took it with me to scouting events. So that was not a full-time carry knife for me, whereas this one was. So first we're going to start with my grandfather's knife, and this is a Case Texas Jack knife in red bone, and that red bone has darkened, has been carried. This is a legitimate pocket worn knife, and this has seen some use and was very, very heavily used. And we have the Case tested XX there, and we have under that, because I know that these things are like dated with little dots and etc. I don't see any right now on that. I'm not going to hunt for it because it could take forever. And so we've got the main blade, and then we have a very stubborn pen blade, which I can force out of here, which is in much better shape than the main blade. But there is our pen blade, and I will be cleaning this up. I'll probably do a video on it. And this was my grandfather's knife. I did not know how long he carried it in his pocket. He had quite a few. I know that he had a Boker. He had a pen, equal end pen knife from Case. He also had this Texas Jack, but this is the one that was given to me. He may give me more in the future, I'm not sure, but this is what I have from him. And he carried this probably while he was a refinery engineer. He worked at a refinery, and he inspected a lot of the piping and basically the refinery itself. So he probably used this for a lot of very difficult tasks. Now we'll move on to my dad's knife. Now this is an old timer from Schrade, and this is a Schrade USA 80T. And this is basically Schrade's large Stockman knife, and we can see some patina that's not pitting, it's just black patina spots on their carbon steel blades. And I do keep this one oiled, and I don't use these anymore. These are just more for keepsake than anything else. My dad, a little history on him. He is not a refinery, he is a petroleum engineer, and he would go to sites and inspect them. He wouldn't be as involved as my granddad, but he would just go there, talk with contractors, and he would lead teams of men that would run those sites. and he carried this in his pocket. I remember seeing him carry this most when he was out camping with me. So he did use this quite a bit while we were camping. It would live either in his glove box or in his pocket. So this is his knife. We have that nice main blade, then we have the sheep's foot blade, and then we have our spay blade. And this knife is actually in pretty great condition considering the use. I don't think he ever abused it. I never saw him abuse it or use it for anything else. And if he did use something to abuse, it was usually a screwdriver. So that is his knife, and now on to mine, which I have more memories of. As of recently, I did add this. I tried carrying it for a series of months, and it just didn't meet my needs. So in my life right now what I am carrying is the Victorinox Handyman, and I carry this almost every day in my pocket organizer by Yellow Birch Outfitters. And I just carry this right here, and I usually have a pen, and then somebody suggested some chapstick over here. Chapstick in Houston doesn't really make a lot of sense. I just don't ever get really chapped lips, but I'm still trying to figure out what I could put here. Maybe even something for pills, or I don't know, but we're still figuring that out. But that's what I carry now and what meets my needs. But this is what met my needs from, I would probably say, my senior year of junior high all the way to when I went to college. And so this knife, you can see that there has been some use on it. I have sharpened it a little bit. You can see a little bit of a recurve here coming up, and you can see it even better on this side, a little recurve. But this is still plenty sharp and plenty usable. And I did try to keep a good pointy end on there so I could use this. But this has a main blade. And the thing I usually use this for is I used this nail file tool. I use this as a screwdriver a lot. When I was in high school, I was actually one of the main technicians in our theater course who would be in charge of building and taking down our sets for theater. So I used this screwdriver a lot. And the thing I loved about it, if I can demonstrate it, let me see if I can demonstrate it. It flexes in just a little bit and then locks in place if you press it against something. So then when you're using it, it doesn't fold on you. And this was incredibly useful. And this was incredibly useful later in college. So we'll just say that. And then I surprisingly didn't use the can opener all that much. What I used this can opener for was opening up packages. When we were in theater, we would get supplies in, and this made a hell of a box cutter. Not a box cutter, but you know, it would open boxes really effectively. And then on the back end, in my life, this made more sense, is to have this screwdriver. So I would use this also when we were taking down and building sets, and I would also use it around the house, and I would also use this on my skateboards when I would go out skateboarding. If something came loose, I would have this, or I'd even have a flat head. So these were very useful, these tools. And then the awl, I didn't really use this for much of anything other than cleaning under my fingernails. I use this for my fingernails, and then I use this part as a screwdriver, just because you have this natural handheld motion where you can just gradually turn. that. And this lanyard wasn't here when I carried it. I carried it on my keys, and I had it on a detached ring, so you could just clip it off, and then you had the knife. So this was really the knife that did it all for me when I was, hell, I'm still young. I'm only 26, but I mean, when I was in my teens, this was definitely doing all the work I needed it to do. And I've moved on to better knives. I've moved on to more expensive knives, but if I had to move back to this would definitely be a useful tool. And you can see that it has had some wear and tear, and just, it's had a life, and I used it, and I didn't abuse it, but I definitely used it for its purpose. And I look back on these knives, and I just see all the years of, I guess, utility, of memories, of maybe camping trips that these may have gone on, maybe even jobs that they may have seen, things that these may have had built, or just help to achieve a certain goal, because tools help us achieve goals. And I feel that looking at the past knives that we've had, and if you're lucky enough to even have 3 generations of knives like I do, to be able to reminisce of years past, of what things were like in the past. And the reason why I'm making this video is to look to the future. It's New Year's Eve here, and we are right now getting ready for our New Year's party. It's going to be my wife and I and my baby girl, and we're just going to be home and keeping it chill and just being really relaxed. So I thought you guys would really enjoy seeing these knives, and maybe you can look at the knives you may have carried in high school, or maybe the knife your father carried, or maybe even the knife your grandfather carried, and look at those knives and think, wow, what an adventure these have had. What adventures have I had with the knives that I carry? Like what I carry, the Handyman. I mean, I haven't taken this out of my pocket since I've gotten it. And as of late, I have actually sold pretty much all of my Victorinox knives. I had over 30, I think maybe even 30 or 40 of that I actually carried, different models. And I now only have, I want to say, 8 or 9 that I actually carry in a rotation, but this one never leaves my pocket. I'll have 2 Swiss Army knives in my pocket and then my main blade, but this one has all the tools I need. And I'm going to be very excited to see what replaces this and when I may retire this, so then it can go right in this spot, in another stage of life, and in another stage of the generations of knives that I have. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This is just a little bit of a reflection, and just to think about what knives we have, what adventures we've been on, and maybe what family members are attached to these. Maybe you even have an uncle's knife. Maybe you have a brother's knife. Maybe even a brother's knife that went to war, and the knife is what came back. We don't know. You know, it's just every knife has a story, and these stories keep on going. So I hope everybody here on YouTube, I hope you guys have a great and safe New Year, and I hope you take some time to reflect on the memories that you've built with your knives. So thank you guys so much. Till then, I will talk to you guys in 2021. So wherever you may be, night or day, I hope you're having a great one. Thank you so much.